Well, Vikath Ravenfell, thank you so much for joining in with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Was a little bit under the weather this morning, but I'm good now.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. Well, would you kindly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am Vikath Ravenfell, your sassy but charming moon elf. I am self appointed heretic and seeker of the arcane. I am a retired speedrunner who now likes to chill out and break video games and master them.
It's always good to break things and master them. So, looking into your backstory, you are a moon elf, as you have just stated, but not only are you a moon elf, you have also been touched with demonic corruption. Where did this demonic corruption come from?
It's basically through a process of like mutation and practicing forbidden magic. Manifests as like claws and also the horns.
Hmm.
You can think of it. You can kind of draw parallels to like how the Witchers are made.
So does that essentially make you part demon in a sense?
Um,
Or devil?
probably not in a traditional, probably not in a traditional sense. Just some. It's more along the lines of like corruption than just full on like a half species.
Okay, okay.
Aha, great. Another dangerous individual on the ship, Captain. Good job.
I I what can I say? I like to bring the dangerous individuals while you're out in space. See,
Ha!
I'm
Good thing I'm a
considerate.
hologram.
So you also have powers. How exactly do your powers work? Because you have the power of stealing powers from other people, essentially. Correct?
Mm, not really. You're probably thinking of how I was originally created. Um, so the lore goes that I was actually born under the name Keelan. I took Vikath by defeating a demon with the same name and basically stole his power and stole his blood and infused it within myself.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it's basically similar to sorcerers and D and Pathfinder, where it comes from like a magical bloodline, but it's not exactly pure. It's more of a corruption. So I have to rely on sacrificing my own vitality, basically like blood magic, to actually be able to use any power.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, are you able to still take other people's powers in essentially, but it just has to you have to like get their blood essentially?
And the most I can do with that is probably just like bolster my own health pool. Like
Okay.
temp HP as it's referred to.
Okay. So with the dark magic, so you kind of deal with dark magic in a sense then with that in mind. Um, is there other like dark magics that you deal with then that aren't all related to blood, or is blood kind of just a necessary part of dark magic?
Yeah, I deal with that all the time, like necromancy and shadow magic. Some of the more forbidden alchemy. But as far as what I use, it's just blood magic.
Okay.
But yeah, basically the people I work with are like all into that stuff. Not necessarily in a sense to harm other people, more like control it and understand it so they can better be used to defend ourselves.
What are some of the ways that you can use it to defend yourself?
You feel familiar with the Bane spell in D&D?
Yeah.
The actual material component is in that is a drop of blood. So like I can inflict curses upon people and mess up their saving throws or their hit chance, things like that.
Mhm.
If we're speaking in purely like mechanical terms,
Okay.
but if we want to get down to the real nitty gritty, I can also do other foul things to them, like lock up their muscles and
Oh.
I don't make them sick.
Well, that's what this is all about. We're all about getting into that nitty gritty and learning more about you and trying to crack some of the secrets about yourself and the backstory.
I can't give away all my secrets.
Well, of course not. We gotta have some secrets, but gotta try to pry a little bit. Just take it out, my pinky. Ow, fuck, ow. Gotta remember, bad pinky on my left hand. Ah, don't worry, that's just my own problems. Actually, can you fix my pinky? Can you use blood magic to fix my pinky?
I don't heal people. That's not my thing.
Damn it.
Get on, Captain.
Well, it was worth asking at least. I mean, at this point, might as well just take the whole pinky at this point. It's fine though. It's not about me and my pinky. It's not about me and my pinky.
Let me cry for you, Captain. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Okay, so with dealing with dark magic and blood magic and possibly like demonic corruption in a sense, is there inner turmoil that you face within yourself? Like, is there a dark, even darker side of you that you constantly are having to fight?
Yeah, since elves are traditionally very long-lived creatures, they're very patient and don't quite have the urges that shorter-lived species do. That demonic corruption definitely definitely comes with its own drawbacks. I have a shorter temper than most elves, and kind of have some urges that I have to deal with, if you know what I mean. People,
I might have an idea, but why don't you tell us what these urges are for like
I mean,
who doesn't know?
let's just say that my moon touch skin is people find that irresistible.
Hmm. I see. Yes. They mean sex, Cosita.
Oh, wow. Thank you for the illumination, Captain. I would have never guessed without your help.
I know. That's why I wanted to make sure you understood.
Ha! Who would get closer to a demon anyways?
I mean, quite a few people, actually. I'm pretty sure there's a whole kink for it.
Messed up. Go on.
Well, I mean, actually, you know what? I actually did have a question on that. Where is my question about that? Oh, yeah. So, it's with people finding, the urges and the being unable to resist their things. Have you received any like special items or special artwork of yourself?
Not yet. I'm completely open to it. I even had tags for it that people can use on social media, and I have yet to receive anything. So at this point, it's just been commissions.
Okay. I mean, commissions are always good though too. That's one way of receiving artwork, even if you have to pay for it. But it's fine. It's fine. This is how it works sometimes,
Hmm.
So, what has been one of the most challenging battles that you have gone up against?
Well, there was this one setting where these two nations have been fighting one another for who knows how long, like hundreds of years. Turns out they were being controlled on either side from an aboleth on one end, and then the other was a beholder.
Oh,
That'll, after a bit of investigation, that culminated into a big fight with the aboleth and its lair. And those things are not fun to deal with because they've got all kinds of infectious powers and charm effects that uh, even me being an elf having resistance to it, still caught me one time. But we managed to find something that can make it sick, and I basically to very literally put the expression "poison the well" into very literal terms. I poisoned his entire his pond essentially,
Okay.
and after that we just had to fight him normally, and then managed to put him down. But yeah, that was a tough fight.
So why fight the aboleth over the beholder? Because it sounds like there's two nations fighting each other. Why specifically go after the aboleth?
The beholder gave us a choice, whereas the aboleth was not so much. That was the nation I found myself in, and a lot of the people in charge, like the officials and stuff, were like going to turn against us. So we had to cut off the head essentially, so that our own people wouldn't kill us. Because otherwise, we were going to be considered traitors.
Okay, so so you were on the side of the beholders because that's essentially where you were living at the time.
No, you got it backwards. We, yeah, I forget the name of I forget their names. Oh, yeah, Castorok, and the other was like Gore or something.
Okay.
And we basically made an agreement with Gore the Beholder, and we're like, fine, we'll deal with this guy because we don't want to be branded as traitors in our own country.
Got it. Okay. So did this give you any kind of like political power in a sense? Did you move up the chain in the politics?
Hard to say. I was also dealing with a patron at the time, and
Oh,
being a warlock.
okay.
And so I was less focused on political power than and more so on the more arcane arts,
Mhm.
if you can put it that way. I'm trying to find a way to break free of her.
Who was your patron when you used to be a warlock?
None other than Shar.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. Very powerful. Very strong. Where do they? So you said that it used to be a thing. So I'm going to assume that you're no longer a patron of Shar.
Yeah, I've broken free, and that's where I had to stop relying on borrowing power and more or less finding it within myself.
Okay, reasonable. That's reasonable. Um, were there any repercussions when you broke your patronage with Shar?
I mean, it's Shar. That's a very dangerous patron to piss off.
Mm-hmm,
But she has so many lined up, so many other warlocks lined up to serve her. So it was just a matter of being very careful and watchful.
and somewhat of a lucky break, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's always good. It's always good. You don't want to piss off those patrons. It could be very dangerous at times. I would know because one of the crew members made a deal with a certain tentacle patron that I had to sometimes deal with on time to time, but that's neither here nor there. Cosita, do you have any questions you would like to ask?
Ha! I will never save my disdain for demonic entities, whatever the nature may be. But I guess I have some questions for you, Vikath. So, first things first, I guess thank you for joining our little fun, humble Lorecast, Vtuber Lorecast here with Captain. Of course, Captain here tends to recruit people who are very evil, so I'm not surprised that someone like you ended up being here. But let me ask you about something in particular. What kind of stuff do you like to show to your audience, Vikath?
No, you don't mean like feet pics, do you? Just no, I don't do that for free.
You don't do that for free? Of course, I knew it.
No.
I knew it. You're that kind of. Okay, go on.
I mean, who would do that for free?
Absolutely. What you can get for free is a display of my skills.
Of
I
your
like
skills?
to show off cool things. I like to show off cool things I can do in video
Cool.
games.
You can do cool stuff in video games, huh? So you're not the typical variety VTuber streamer like Captain? What kind of streamer are you then?
Well, like I said, when I first introduced myself, I am a retired speedrunner, and
But do you
I
still do
used to
speedrun?
still do, but it's mainly just a hobby. I just still like to find something new and figure it out and break it in some way, and it's basically like a way of self improvement. I don't look at leaderboards and try to compete against other people. Let's see how I can improve. So that's what I like to show off. And once in a while, I'll do like a marathon where I'll revisit some old games that I used to run and just I do them back to back in a marathon and just I'll stop and talk about them and say like how this trick works here and how this one was discovered and like the inner workings and how mechanically it works behind the scenes. Because it's one thing to just sit there and watch it get your mind blown. It's another to have somebody who can explain to you what's going on. Because otherwise, it's just you'll just get lost. Some of them go so fast you can't tell what's happening.
I'm not much of a fan of speedrunning. I think I don't know how to say it. It kind of consumes you over time. Didn't that happen to you?
Yeah, I would say it definitely consumed me. Getting caught up in trying to achieve world records and things like that, and getting really, as I said, I do have a shorter temper than most elves. So yeah, I
Of course you do. You're that kind of person. The evil one. Well, Vcat, what kind of games do you usually like to stream, I guess?
I mainly started with FPS games,
FPS? Like what?
retro shooters. Like I think the very first stream I ever did back in 2019 was a Doom mod. I think it was an Aliens mod of some like the Aliens franchise. I don't remember the name of the mod, but yeah, that was my first ever stream, and I've been doing things like that ever since. And I branched out more recently to RPGs and horror games, but yeah, it's mainly those three types, and I hop around from category to category.
You what? You play Doom? You play
Yeah.
when you call retro FPS, you refer to boomer shooters?
I was afraid that term would come up. Let me clarify. Let me clarify this for you, okay? A boomer shooter is a modern FPS game with retro aesthetics, such as Dusk, such as Cultic. Games like Doom, Quake, Turok, those are just retro shooters. They're a product of their time. The boomer shooter does not fit in describing those.
Now allow me to stop you there. Quake 3 is an arena shooter.
Correct. Yeah.
And that is such a graceful game. Oh my god, I can't believe you know your stuff. Maybe I highly underestimated you, Vikath. Interesting. So you brought someone good after all, Captain.
I told
Okay,
you
let
I'd
me
like
talk
the
more
people.
about this. I'm gonna list you my games on Steam. See if you know them. To know how good you are. That's all. For example, the Turok series. Do you know them?
Absolutely.
Quake. Well, you mentioned Quake.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Doom. What about Duke Nukem?
Mm-hmm. I also speed ran that.
How about Star Wars Dark Forces?
Mm-hmm.
Rise of the Triads?
Mm-hmm.
The Unreal series?
Before I answer that, when it comes to Rise of the Triads, in my dad's household, um, I was kind of split in between my mom and my dad, and he had the computer, and at my mom's house was the console, so I was like
Mm.
in between, I was in between a console pleb and a PC master race, and
Oh, so you play Golden Eye? Or Perfect Dark?
yeah,
Or that kind of stuff?
yep,
Oh, those are
No
classic.
way. No
yeah. So I had the
way.
I had both the N64 and a PC, and because of the demonic imagery that was in Doom, I couldn't play that at first. So what does he do? He lets me play the second most violent FPS game, which is Rise of the Triad.
I completely understand that. My dad made the exactly same thing for me. I played the freaking most violent ass games when I was a kid too. Oh my god. Do you know? Shut up, Captain! Do you know
I'm
anything
sorry.
about?
I'm mesmerized by this because we all grew up on violent video games. Because for me, it wasn't shooters, but I grew up on Mortal Kombat, which was a very violent game in its time.
Yeah, that's understandable. How about Hexen or Heretic?
I've played Hex and I've never finished it because I just always get lost. Even the remaster that marks everything on the map, I just can't do it. A Heretic, yeah, I finished that one years ago.
How about Wolfenstein series?
Mm-hmm. The original kind of, I don't know, makes me motion sick because of just how it moves. But Return to Castle Wolfenstein,
Oh my
I would
god,
even
such a
go as
good
far to
game.
I would go as far as to say even Wolfenstein 2008 or 9, whenever that came out, and the modern ones, excluding the most recent. What was it?
Youngblood.
The
Let's
one
not
with the
talk about
co-op,
that.
Youngblood. Yeah,
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
yeah. But yeah,
Oh,
the modern Wolfenstein are really good because it's the draw for me in that one is when it really delves into like the weird science, because you know the Nazis during the time were very much into the occult, and so that kind of when they really focus on that whole weird science kind of stuff, that just really interests me.
I love that
And
too.
I think
It's such an interesting stuff too. Yeah. Oh my god,
to me,
because
if it doesn't include that, it's not Wolfenstein. It's just
yeah,
another like historic shooter, in my opinion.
exactly. That's the thing about Wolfenstein. Even when the first Wolfenstein game, there were zombies, there were all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, Wolfenstein always being like that. Oh my goodness gracious, Vikath. Have you ever tried Daikatana?
Yes, actually, I have to preface by saying you have got to play it with the fan patch, otherwise it's miserable.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no, definitely has to be with the patch.
with
Oh
it
my
though,
god.
it was actually very enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, of course, there's like more modern games like Cultic, like I don't know, the freaking Dusk, like you mentioned, many others like Ultra Kill, all that kind of stuff. Iron Fury is very good as well.
Hmm.
Prot, I don't know, Nightmare Reaper. There's many. Produce,
Hmm.
Project Warlock. There's a lot. There's a lot of modern
Yeah,
ones.
those I would call boomer shooters.
Now, interesting. Very interesting that you know all this stuff, because I normally use the term boomer shooters for people because they don't understand this kind of stuff. So it's like, I just go with this because that's how people just call it. I don't care about educating people. Very interesting, Vikath. Very interesting.
I would just like to say that I didn't realize that's what that was, because I just call them shooters, and I will make the joke that Cosita likes to call the older shooters boomer shooters, and now I understand why that is.
Yes.
So yeah, no, that all makes sense now, because I didn't realize that was an actual term that was used for video games. So yeah, look, I learned something.
I mean, that's a name that they invented
Yeah,
for the modern games, just like Vikath said.
yeah,
Oh,
which
but that's so cool.
yeah.
Oh my god, I love. For example, recently there was a new Blood. Well, it was the same Blood as always, but remastered with the original source code, right? Do you know about that? The Blood series?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
also a game I speedran for a little bit.
Oh my god,
Also, what I would consider the most brutally difficult build engine game.
man. I heavily underestimated you, Vikath. My utmost apologies. I guess you are not just any other demon. I guess you are definitely something else. I don't really care about the speedrunning thing, but your taste, man, your taste is really good. I could never be having the heart to speedrun the games that I love, because I know eventually I'll start just seeing them as something that in other ways instead of just a way of me enjoying the game, you know? But if you find enjoyment, right, in trying to see everything as a speedrunning, I guess that's also valid.
Mhm.
What is your opinion on the matter?
Well, I've had people comment on some of my YouTube videos, like we're saying basically like, "Where's the enjoyment of this? You're missing everything." And I always come back and say, "I have probably played the game way more than you have.
Mhm.
I know it backwards, forwards, this way and that. I know where all the secrets are because I look for everything to further break it to give myself an advantage. I to some extent even know how the engine works."
Right, but it's not the
Um,
intended way to play.
Yeah, but there's plenty of ways to challenge yourself in your favorite video games. You can do like the first thing that came to my mind was there was the game Dead Space, where there was an achievement for beating the game with just the plasma cutter.
Mhm.
Like that could be considered a challenge run. You can do the same for whatever. There's people who beat Resident Evil with just the knife.
Mhm.
You could do the same with an FPS game. Just limit yourself or handicap yourself in some way. And speedrun is just it's just a I like to look at it as like an evolution of how in arcade games people would try to get the high score. That hasn't changed. It's just except now instead of high scores, everyone's trying to get the time lower and lower.
But you mentioned yourself, it ended up consuming you.
Hmm.
So there has to be like a good balance in there.
Well, the balance is just not look at what everyone else is doing, not comparing yourself to others, and just going your own way, doing your own thing. Like I don't even since we've talked a bit about Doom, like their whole thing, they still rely on you to use the old file recording format. I forget what it's called. Basically, it records inputs instead of like actual raw footage because
Mm.
video recordings back then were so massive that they couldn't handle it. So they recorded inputs and it would be put into a demo reel, and that's still to this day how they judge speedruns. Um,
Oh.
but I couldn't not be bothered to do all that shit. I will just. Oh, can I curse on this show?
Absolutely. It's 18 plus.
Go for it.
Okay. I can't be bothered to do all that. I will ignore whatever the rules are. I don't plan on submitting my game to their leaderboard anyway, so I'm just gonna do things my way. That's the end of that.
Fascinating. Oh my god, I'm such in love with your taste. Like, I can't believe after all this time doing VTubing and spending time, in the Lorecast that we're doing here with Captain, found someone who actively are in this sphere of this retro FPS games. Granted, you don't only do that. You do other kind of stuff, like you mentioned. But originally did this kind of stuff. And that is
Mhm.
great. That is awesome. You barely see VTubers doing this kind of games nowadays, especially nowadays. That is commendable, very commendable. I would love to play this kind of games with people who love the games, but knowing the kind of person you are, I don't know if I would enjoy myself playing with you, because by the time I grab a weapon, you'll already be ending the level. So, for example, I imagine yourselves playing Quake 2. First level,
Mhm.
the freaking Strogos invasion. You go there, and while I'm still in the cinematic, you already have defeated the Macron. Like, what the hell? How do you play with other people?
How do I play with other people? We cranked the difficulty up to like nightmare. I actually very recently did a co-op run with somebody. We played through Quake 2 on nightmare.
Oh, I love doing that. It's so fun. I
Yeah, that's
love.
something you can't just rush through. Like
All
you can't
right.
rush through that unless you'll just get gunned down.
All right, sounds good. Sounds there's a chance there. I love, for example, the new Doom difficulty settings. For example, in which you can just tune things up, everything, every little detail.
Mm.
You can just put in however you like. I know it
Mhm.
got criticized a lot, but I think this is perfect for the kind of people who wants a challenge. I am not much in the speedrunning things at all, by any means. I like taking my time, enjoyment in my own way, I guess. But I do enjoy playing the games in high difficulties. That much we can agree on. It's very interesting, it's very fun, and it makes you understand how maybe the developers intended the game in highest difficulty might be.
Mm.
I know, for example, in the original Dooms, John Carmack and Romero tried to make Doom, well, scary, but it's nowadays you see the original Doom games and you don't see it as scary anymore. But they still try doing that. At least Carmack did. In Doom 3,
Mhm.
in Doom 3, you can see that they actually went with the freaking scary factor, and then there's people complaining like, this is not like any Doom game. Like, that is exactly how they intended Doom to be.
Mhm.
Of course, with all the technical limitation. But I'm getting off topic here. What I want to say is, it's very interesting how you, Vikath, go with the speedrunning factor now. And now, like you said, as a retired professional speedrunner, now you just do it out of hobby. I think
Mhm.
this time you'll be able to, and correct me if I'm wrong, you should be able to enjoy more this kind of hobby now that you don't have the pressure to compare yourself to others.
Yeah, it's. I wish I could remember the quote, but after I was done with, I accomplished all my goals with like Turok 2. People would still come around, like, "When are you running Turok 2? When are you gonna run Turok 2?" And it's like, I have all the records. Else am I gonna do? And then when I lost the records, I was like, I'm still not going back. And like I accomplished my goals. Like, what am I gonna do? Just go back and get the records again? That's not fun.
That's
I feel like I've left my mark already.
You did, and I congratulate for that. It must have not been easy for you to, stand up for yourself and do what you actually wanted to do instead of doing what others expected you to do and going back to doing the same stuff over and over again when you already have done it, just like you said. That must have
Mhm.
been very difficult, but I'm actually happy that you did it. Not everyone can say the same.
Yeah, I mean, it gets tiring, and then those are what I consider fair weather viewers. Like they don't ever come around anymore, and like I'm not missing them.
Yeah, good riddance, honestly. I love seeing a VTuber who loves the genre. Oh my god, I'm so happy now. Captain, you may continue your questions.
Oh, see, I knew I'd get some good guess for you, Cosita. Well, okay, so with the speed running, essentially, this actually kind of led you more into the quality assurance styles. How exactly did speedrunning kind of lead into you going into quality assurance and getting into that kind of line of work?
So the first project I was ever involved with was the Turok 3 remaster by Night Dive. I don't know behind the scenes why they picked me and the other few in in the speedrunning community. Um, I wasn't there for any of those discussions, but
Mhm.
they, I guess, picked me because of my dedication to the games and how I wasn't just stuck on one game. I was all over the place, you know, with all kinds of FPS games. So they probably figured I would be a good fit for that because I by that point I had so much experience and had an eye for finding stuff, and sure enough, yeah, I found all kinds of issues when
Mhm.
we were playtesting it. So if you ever play that game, it's going to be under my old branding, which was Chaos Wolf,
Mhm.
but it's in the credits for the Turok 3 remaster. And then from there, the game Cultic, I ran that for Games Done Quick 2023, or specifically it was Awesome Games Done Quick, which was their winter show. I ran Cultic and I had the developer on commentary. And since then, me and him have been really cool. Like we were in
No
communication.
way! That's so cool.
Yeah, and he when he was working on chapter 2, he actually left 3D Realms because of the drama going on there,
Mhm.
and he lost access to the QA team, so he picked out his own people and he selected me among a few others, and yeah, I got to work on that. That was by far the most, like, he wanted to pay me back and like get a game for me on off of Steam or something. I was like, no way. I didn't want to accept it at first. Like just working on this game was enough of a reward
Mhm.
because I absolutely love Cultic. But when it came to other projects like Apogee, Apogee Entertainment, which they're the ones who originally published Rise of the Triad. They occasionally will make announcements on social saying we're looking for QA people, and I just ended up signing up for that. And yeah, you join their Discord, and you whenever a game is getting announced, you sign up for it, and you just volunteer your own time. You get to keep the game that you get to work on,
Mhm.
and make your own hours, however much dedication you want to put into it. They don't put a lot of pressure onto you for it. But yeah, to date, I've worked on Total Chaos, that
Okay.
game that's used to be a Doom mod, and then he remade it in, I think,
You know,
Unity. Yeah,
yeah, full-fledged
and it
game.
came out. He released that last, I think, around Halloween last year, and yeah, that one. Unfortunately, I can't point out where my name is because they used my real name on that one.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's a game I got to work on, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess in a permanent position for JSAWS, that's the Cultic dev. I'm QA for him and also for Apogee.
As a speedrunner, I bet you're pretty good at doing QA. That's such good skills there.
A lot of speedrunners get hired as QA because developers want their unique perspective because there's that expression, gamers don't look up.
Mhm.
Well, I say speedrunners look everywhere. Like
Uh-huh.
I find so many issues that people just don't think about. God, there was so many clipping problems in Total Chaos. Like I'd walk right through this wall or right through this fan where you shouldn't be able to go to. It gets soft locked and things like that. It's like, yeah, these are issues that need to be patched.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I mean, it would make sense too because I mean, a lot of times with speedrunning, like you're looking for those exploits as well to get faster times essentially. So it would make sense like developers would want to look for speedrunners in general to find all the
Hmm.
bugs in their game. So that makes a lot of logical sense now that it's being said out loud because I never really thought of that until we just started discussing. I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Actually, that makes a whole lot of sense of why they would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, they just look for people who can think outside of the box,
Hmm.
or even people just playing it casually. As long as they're dedicated and put in a good amount of time, they can still come across things that shouldn't be in the game.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. So earlier, it was being discussed about like if you were to do a collab with Cosita on like Quake 2 essentially or something like that. It
Mhm.
you have made a mention in the past that you kind of dislike being in small groups due to that being like everybody waiting to answer and stuff like that. It's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, and like a Discord call, that sort of situation. Ah, is there an effect to that when you're in like smaller collabs, like Warhammer 40K, for example, that typically is usually involved with a smaller group, but also it tends to be a very chaotic thing. How does that affect you?
So that discomfort comes from being in person, really, because I'm actually on the spectrum, so like eye contact is very difficult for me. And when people are sitting around a table looking at you expectantly for an answer, that I just break under the pressure.
Okay.
It's not so much I can be more myself in a small group. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I became a VTuber. Yeah, it's completely different in a setting like this.
Okay.
As opposed to being in person.
So more like a social thing than anything else, which I get
Yeah.
that. I'm kind of the same boat too. You enjoy tea. I enjoy tea. What is your go-to tea?
Are you familiar with Celestial brand?
I am actually.
I love their spicy apple cinnamon. That is my go-to.
Ooh, that is a good one. That is a good one. I do enjoy that one as well. I tend to go towards black teas a lot. So like I don't really go celestial anymore, but I used to do their morning thunder for every morning. I've moved on to like tea leaves and stuff like that now. So I'm being a tea snob now with the tea kettle and brewing at certain degrees. Yeah, that's Celeste is always good to have. You have a raven that is on your stream by the name of Quill. Quill?
Quill. Yeah.
Quill. Cool. Tell us a little bit about your companion.
So in my headcanon, in my lore, I work alongside other practitioners of dark arts, and they keep that raven as sort of like a less dystopian kind of surveillance drone. She's more like as their eyes and ears. More so that to keep an eye on me than to be a companion,
Okay.
because the kind of magic that people like me practice can be very corrupting. So they got to make sure that I'm not falling to that corruption.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Does have they said anything very ridiculous to you?
To me, not so much. She speaks in riddles and rhymes a lot,
Okay.
so it can be difficult to even understand what she's trying to say sometimes. But so there's a redeem on my channel. You can talk to her, and she'll respond.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody just said pee pee poo poo, and she just called them out and said they were being childish. Like, it was very, very sassy about it too.
Very nice. Well, Cosita, we're somewhat getting close to that time. Do you have any final questions you would like to ask?
I have so many questions I'd love to ask, but out of respect of the program, I usually use this by giving you a list of stuff and let you tell me if you know them or not. So in this case, instead of ravens, we're gonna talk about FPSs. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Let's start with Bioshock. Bioshock 2,
Mm-hmm.
Bioshock Infinite,
Mm-hmm.
Black Mesa,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Blakestone, Aliens of Gold,
I know it, but it's like Wolfenstein. It's hard to play.
Blood West,
Yeah, I played it. Didn't get very far.
Bloodhound, First Day in Hell.
Bloodhound, First Day in Hell.
Yeah, Bloodhound.
Not familiar with that one. No,
What about Bone Dust?
no, don't know that one either.
How about Borderlands?
Mm-hmm.
How about Brigand Oaxaca?
What? Say that again.
Brigand Oaxaca.
No, don't know that one.
How about Cad Warfare?
Cat Warfare? No, don't know that one.
Chasm the Rift?
No, it's very obscure to me.
Chasm the Rift is like a Quake modification that got recently remastered. Well, recently, I'm telling a few years ago. How about The Cure?
Like the band?
That's what I was thinking.
No, it's a game in this case. How about Dead Island?
Yes, I have absolutely love Dead Island.
How about Descent? Even though it's not an FPS in its original type
Oh,
of way.
Descent. I know Descent. I've never played it because I know it would absolutely like I get motion sickness, and that game would really mess with my head.
How about Deus Ex?
Mm-hmm.
Dread Templar?
Mm-hmm. They're kind of stingy with health, but yeah, I know Dread Templar.
Eternal Blood.
Eternal Blood? No, I have not heard of that one.
How about Ghostware? Arena of the Dead.
No.
It's such a good game. I recommend it to you. It's like Quake 3 meeting an actual story of people being trapped in Quake 3. It's very fun. How about the Halo series?
Mm-hmm. Not so much the recent ones, but yes.
How about Incision?
Been meaning to play it. I know of it, but I haven't gotten the chance to.
How about Judge Dredd?
There's a game of Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh.
Judge Dredd versus Death or something like that.
Yeah, Dredd
It's
versus
in my
Death.
Steam. Yeah, it's in my Steam library. I have not played it yet.
Oh, well,
How about the Max Payne series?
Mm-hmm. Even the Max Payne 3. I know it got a lot of hate, but I still like it.
Ah, you really are someone of good taste. Nightmare Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Painkiller series?
There's so many. Yeah, I don't even know if I got through all of them because they didn't do them numerically, so it's kind of hard to tell
Yeah,
which ones to play in order.
It's very complicated. I completely agree. How about Puzzle series?
Puzzle series?
Postal.
Oh, Postal. I also have them in my Steam library. I haven't played them.
How about Proteus?
Mm-hmm. Used to speedrun that one, but it's just going from A to B. There's nothing interesting about that speedrun. But yeah, I did play it.
How about Rage series? Well, Rage 1 and 2.
I tried to play the first one, and I don't know what I was expecting. I just wasn't in the mood for the game at the time.
How about Serious
Two,
Sam series? Oh, sorry.
Serious.
2? What about Rage 2?
Yeah, I don't know. Same thing. Don't think I was in the mood for it. Serious Sam, I enjoyed the first 3. 4 was like leaning way too much into story. I was like, this is not what Serious Sam is about. It's like a single player horde shooter, and they put too much story in it, and I was like groaning through the cutscenes, like, give me more things to shoot.
What about Zin? Sin
Zen?
Gold. Sin Gold.
Oh, Sin. Yeah, that's one I never finished. It's a Quake engine game.
Yes.
I've been waiting for. I thought Night Dive was going to remaster that, and it seems like they've been working on it for a while. I do have it. I never finished it, but yeah, I've been waiting on that remaster.
How about Shadow Warrior series?
Mm-hmm. Never played 3. Played a little bit of 2. It was trying too hard to be a looter shooter, but yeah, I played the original build engine and the reboot.
How about the System Shock series?
Not the original. I have played the
remake.
The remake. Yeah.
So good. I loved it so much.
2 I've been meaning to play but just haven't yet.
No, let's wait for the remake for the 2. Okay.
But they remastered it very recently, actually.
Yeah, very recently, the remaster, but they're gonna also remake it, just like System Shock.
I
have 2 more. This one, I don't know if you know it. I'm pretty sure you won't, but I still want to know about it. How about Shogo, Mobile Armor Division?
In my Steam library, have not played it.
Oh, but you know it. That's impressive.
I know it, yes.
That's super impressive. It's very weird to see someone who knows about it. I know it's the same engine as Blood 2, and not many people love Blood 2, but I do love Blood 2. I played it a lot when I was a kid. What is your opinion on Blood 2?
On Blood 2? I couldn't get the damn thing to work on my PC.
I know you can't.
It kept crashing.
No,
I want to play, but it keeps crashing.
There's a fix. There's a fix. It took me a while too, but I fixed it, and I'm able to play it. I'm so happy.
If it's on like the PC Gaming Wiki, I tried that. It worked for a day. The next day when I tried to stream it, it wouldn't work.
Oh no, it's not from a wiki. It's from Steam guides, I think.
Okay.
Well, I got way more questions, but the program unfortunately is over, Captain.
That's true. Well, before we head off, I actually do have one final question as well. Before you head off, I want to talk about one of the goals that you've mentioned about having. One of your goals is that you want to cultivate a friendly and inviting community. Tell us a little bit about your community that you have now and why one would want to join your community.
So I'm kind of rebuilding the community since I rebranded, and those people that have stuck with me have been very supportive and let me just express myself the way I want to. Because I've put so much into this character, and it's a shame that some people didn't stick around. But for those that want to join it, I just kind of pass along the same philosophy that I approach speedrunning. I want people to, I want to be able to inspire creativity and challenge others to, find something they're good at and just reach new heights and whatever passions that they pursue. So my community is all about just doing the best that you can do with what you're given.
It's good. It's a good role to have. It's very good to roll to have. Well, it is about that time. With before you head on out, is there anything that you would like to share or promote or anything of that sort while I give you a shout out?
Yeah, so March is my birthday. It's going to be on the 8th, so exactly 1 week from today, I am going to be doing longer streams than I normally do. I'm going to be
Ooh.
playing through Bloodborne for the first time all the way through.
Oh.
And I want on the day of my birthday, next Sunday, I am doing Cosita. I know you
Yes.
mentioned this. I am going to be playing Unreal Tournament 2004 since that just got
No way! With the new community patch? Oh, from
Yes,
all Unreal.
yes.
Oh my god, I know the people at all Unreal because I love Unreal Gold. I've been there since the beginning of all Unreal. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Okay, are you gonna be playing with other people?
Yes.
Oh my
So
god. Okay, I'm joining. I'm joining. I know you didn't ask, but I'm joining.
Oh.
I've already sent the word out to my dream team, which I'm also part of Eldenwood with Captain Anpaz. We have a collab channel where I've brought that up to them, and I'm just trying to get all who are interested to join us.
Looks like you have one new member that's wanting to join in. Well, with all that said, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure to have you. And obviously, Cosita was very happy to have you now. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you have yourself a good rest of your night.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm always happy to help out in collabs like this and being able to just nerd out over my character.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and end things while I look for someone to raid. But you have yourself a fabulous night, and we'll see you on your birthday. Not that far, actually. Yeah, next week, actually. Yeah. So happy early birthday.